Like, when I meet you, I'm not trying to be like, oh, you finna be my girlfriend.
Yeah.
Nah, that's not how I go about it. Let's go get something to eat. Let's go bowling. Let me see how you interact, how you are as a person, what you talk about. Then it's like, after a while, if I'm just like, you know what, I might have some interest, then it gets to like, you know, it might be a fall off because somebody else
swooped in,
might have had more interest or was trying to move a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
So it's just like, a lot of times we let go of people who genuinely want to get to know and understand us for what looks good, but we live in this temporary.
To me, that's what dating is about.
I was watching a sermon and he said it's like practice divorce. You meet somebody, y'all might start living together, y'all might start doing everything together, and then like y'all separated, and so you go in now, you're doing all that over again. It's a mirror to marriage, but it's without the
commitment.
Correct. It's practice divorce, so we have more practice like getting in and out of relationships than we do working through whatever the issue may be. People are so used to, I can find somebody else.
Yeah.
That's what they go and do, but everyone comes with their moments in time. How do you as a person, how can you stand through that?
Hey guys, welcome back to Lex Talk. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Alexis, and the purpose of this channel is to have real conversations about life, love, and relationships. So I am back today with Kimoy for another installment of KeyCNVOs. And Kimoy, the other day you mentioned the struggle you've been having with, well, trying to settle down, was your words, in this quote unquote everybody's temporary culture of dating these days. Yeah.
I want to say struggle, but like.
Well, I'm gonna say struggle.
But yeah, struggle. I definitely feel that the dating culture has had this very like everyone's temporary feel to it, and so it
what do you mean by that?
Like, yes, I might meet you and start to invest in you and you and me, but I want you to know that at any point in time, I could just, like, you know, at any sign of anything that brings me any kind of, I'm going to just be gone because it's so many of you out here.
Yeah.
And I'm such a catch, so I'm going to be all right. And so it just makes it seem like you don't really want to get involved.
Yeah, I feel like I understand it from the other perspective of everybody's scared to, like, put both feet in because they know that shit is just so fleeting. It just doesn't feel like there's any kind of solid footing on any of this. And how do you find that solid footing when everybody feels as though it could be here today, gone tomorrow, like a fucking vapor? It's just, how do you go past that, like, stage of, yes, we're meeting, yes, maybe we like each other, I don't know. How is it, who trusts who first? How do you get to that space? What did we used to do before online dating?
People used to go out and they would meet in public, like, regularly. Not regularly, but, like, I would run into you in more places than one. And so we might have a little chit-chat conversation. And then after that, like, we would decide to set up, like, dates and, like, try to intermingle our lives. But nowadays, it's just kind of like, what you doing for me? Oh, you're not doing nothing? I'm going to find somebody. And it's not even, it's just like, it's both ways. It's all, it's somebody out here going to do it for free.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's somebody going to do it for less mouth.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so it's just, with everybody having that mentality, everything is temporary and everyone is just like.
Yeah, it's crazy because you would think that would be people that like are hot commodities, but I feel like I get that from both. From dudes that I'm like, you have no business asking for another goddamn thing from me. You're welcome. And then the guys that are like, I feel like, oh, they do have quite a bit, going on for themselves. But no matter what, everybody seems to feel like I can get this for less. We have completely made ourselves into commodities.
We shortchange and we have undervalued how much we really worth.
Correct.
In my opinion, we shortchange ourselves. Because this is a little side, but me and my homeboy always talk about how, like, back in the day, like, you had to really, a girl really had to trust you to talk about she gonna send you a picture in her bra and panties. Like, she had to really, like, you had to have been putting in that, oh, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For her to send you anything. And then now it's just like, everything is everywhere.
It would be more scary now because we have more things that we can do with our technology now. You would think back in the day it was on a goddamn block Nokia. Like,
right.
You couldn't even make that out with all them pixels. But now, like,
it's 3D and they just put it out there. So it's just like we don't have to work as hard.
Yeah.
And so because of that, people don't realize, like, you really do gotta put in the work.
Low key though, I don't remember what it was. I guess because when I was actually dating, I feel like I was so young, and it was proximity. It was who I was in school with, whether college, high school, whatever. So it was a little bit easier. I really do miss the days of, will you be my check, yes or no? I could really go for that right now. Right now, everybody's living in the or.
Well, I that's all I used to circle as a kid. That's all I used to circle. Or
this is karma coming back for your ass.
Hey man, but even then, like, I don't know. But you might be right. It could be karma getting me because all them times I circled or.
But it's coming to get everybody. And I really don't remember how I used to go about relationships during that time. Because every relationship I've been with was somebody I was in close proximity with. Whether it was same summer camp, same school, same college, or something like that. So even now, I don't know how I engage a guy in real life. Well, outside of the dating app.
When I think about, like, when I really was trying to get to know people, like, we really used to talk on the phone about any and everything, like cousins, brothers, sisters, things like that. Like, you really was trying to.
Okay, so a guy got your number first.
Huh?
A guy got your number first.
What you mean?
That's how like relationships started in the past.
Yeah. You had to find a way to get in contact with her, like.
And then you just stay on the phone for hours.
And then we used to just talk, cause after 7, when you had 3 minutes.
7 to 9.
Yeah.
Damn. Why do I remember that? But anyways, yeah.
And so then, like, you really used to try and get to know a person. And so I just feel like people today, they don't really try to get to know you for real. Nobody, like, when I meet people, I think I listen to the things that they want to know about me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and don't that be frustrating when they don't be wanting to know shit?
No, it just lets me know, like, you know what I'm saying, like, what they own.
But sometimes I think it's people don't know how, like, what online does is it forces us to almost know the formula for a relationship. With like, a lot of people don't know the stuff behind the relationship. They're just used to, like, going into it, so they don't know. It's like it makes it more robotic. Like, you have to ask for these things what a person likes instead of just spending time and understanding what a person likes.
But you still have to. But I also, like, you still gotta ask, and
that's true. You do.
I think that's what the difference is now versus then. Like, people don't know how to engage other people to find out things about them. Like, people don't know how to ask questions today. At least not questions that matter. It's always what you bring to the table or do you submit. Like, all that's fine and great, but is your mama good with money? Because if not, then that means you either are or aren't good with money, and I gotta find out because we trying to put our money together if we trying to be together.
Yeah, and I think the conversations, like, it depends on the energy and the person that you're talking to, what questions need to be asked sometimes. I think there's a base level of questions that you probably want to ask, but I think depending on the connection, that kind of drives the questions. At least for me, I hate it when it's just stale conversation and it's just all I can do is rattle off questions. What's your favorite? What do you like to do? How, like if they don't have that kind of energy or charisma to carry that. But then I typically just
but
don't talk.
Even that's people, because I have dated and met some amazing people who, you really have to pull them out their shell and be like, it's okay to be a person, and so it's all that. It's just we have gone to, I love this, the microwave example. That's how our society is. Whereas they used to cook the food, they used to go get it, they chop it up, season it, prepare it. We like to throw it in the microwave and expect it to come out like it was, but that's not how it works. Yeah. And so we get lost looking. We're like, we're missing something.
Yeah. Because I completely agree with that. Like, I get, it's like we want to feel the rewards of the relationship immediately. I think I just have an issue with, honestly, people not wanting to, like, talk. Like, I really just can't get past the texting. Because back in the day when I remember, like, it's that 7 to 9 that we'd stand up on the phone for hours talking about all that stuff or whatever. Like, I don't think I could have been a kid today when it was all done through text messaging. I don't think it would have had the same effect on me. Like, I just, like, that's how I want to dig deep and get to know who you are. And it just don't be for everybody. But
I don't disagree, because I'd say at one point in time, I had lost the art of talking on the phone.
It's so great. I love it.
Yeah.
When it's good.
Yeah.
When it's good.
Yeah.
When it's trash, then no. I'd be the same way. Like, we could dead this right now. We don't need to. I don't want to force you, and I don't want to be pulling nothing. If that's not for you, I get it. But at least, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Give it a shot. All right. So how has this temporary culture changed your approach? Like, what do you do?
It doesn't change my approach. It really changes my expectation of people. Because my whole premise of relationship is, when the romance fall apart, what do you have to fall back on? And so I'm trying to establish a solid foundation of, okay, can I talk to you? Can we hang out? Can we enjoy each other's company? Can we, be big kids together? Mm-hmm. And then you build on top of that. And so when I meet people, I'm just trying to really at first just pick your brain, because I don't really know where it's going to go. Mm-hmm. I feel like a lot of times people meet people and want to pigeonhole them in what they want out of the relationship. Meaning, if I find you attractive, I just want to see you, now you're my boo, and now we're going to get married, not knowing, do we fit? Mm-hmm. And so I just meet people with the expectation of, who are you? And then, does who you are compliment me, or is who I am a compliment to you? And then we build from there.
But it doesn't, like, make you apprehensive. Like, if you compare how you used to, like, reach out to women prior to online dating, do you feel like it's different now? Because
it's definitely different, but I would say my approach isn't. The response that I get is, so people who okay. So if you're like-minded, it's nothing. We're going to click. We're going to meet up. We're going to have a conversation. We might become friends. We might take it on. But if you have a temporary mindset, like, it's not going to work, because my pace is different from what you expect, or how I go about things, right? Because I'm going to try to engage in a little conversation firsthand. Hey, who are you? Yeah. Kind of thing. What I might ask you something to help me pull from that, and then from there it's gonna let me know, okay, do we go straight to the meetup? Do I now try to get your phone number so I can call you, so that maybe something didn't sit right, so let's talk so I can hear your tone, and so it goes like that.
I saved this profile from a guy just because I was like, People be so trash out there. And one thing that he said in his bio, his whole about me: can you be a stay-at-home wife, stock investor, homeowner, spontaneous, ambitious, free spirit, traveler, family-oriented, and empathetic, love language and zodiac compatibility guru? I don't have social media, so don't ask. Small talk me and I'll unmatch you. We'll get along if you avoid small talk with me, you socially drink 420, and don't first message me with a greeting asking me how I'm doing, or GIF. You check my 7 required boxes.
What?
A non-negotiable, my peace, your love for cooking, working out, high emotional IQ, holding yourself accountable, love women as much as I do, hopeless romantic, and an open mind. What? Let's break dating stereotypes by believing you can fall in love just as quickly as you can die. And if you're not a Saints football fan, you suck. And he ain't even cute.
Hey.
And he's 5'5".
Dang. What does that matter?
5'5" is a short guy for a lot of women. That means that I, as a short woman, if I put on heels, I'm going to be towering over you.
And he still has a better chance at warding off the attacker than you.
It's not about the attacker. No, it's not.
I'm just saying.
I'm saying with that energy, no. He was a jerk. And so everything is judged with a much more critical pen because
that's 100% because just like they say, if she finds you attractive, it's not SA. But if you ugly, she calling the police. So it's just like, I get it.
That's true.
I get it.
That's true. Pretty privilege works in every arena. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And in the dating scene too, I feel like that be messing me up too because no lie, the people that I am most attracted to on paper don't be worth a damn, like as far as chemistry goes with me. For whatever reason, it's just I'm not jiving with the ones that on paper I'm like, yeah, that's the type of person that seems like we would work well together. In reality, it don't be that.
No, I feel you because I used to love me some nurses, but let her say she a nurse, but I talked to a couple of them.
Yeah.
That's on my do not talk to list, right next to flight attendants.
Listen, it's funny because a friend of mine, she usually goes after firefighters, but we've had this conversation, both having been in like relationships with like, I guess first responders, that kind, like health field, like police officers, firefighters, that kind of thing. Not that they're off my list or anything, but there's a little bit of a complex that sometimes goes with that job because they're used to being praised by everybody because they literally do be saving lives and stuff like that. And then when they're in a relationship with you, it's like, oh, I'm not going to be over here praised for being Black baby Jesus out here on the streets, and I come home and you treat me like a regular person. So yeah, it was something like where on one hand it's like might be attracted to that, but then on the other hand it's like I don't know if I really want that. And that's, I mean, it's not a blanket statement, but it be existing.
It do.
All right. So how do you go about like telling people that you are interested, or how do you approach them now?
I'm verbal.
Are you only on apps, or do you meet people in person?
I'm not even on apps no more.
Okay, so where do you meet people? In the grocery store?
If I meet people like it's out and about, I'm gonna just say, hey.
Where people be at? Because I don't be.
Well, where I go is where I go. So I'm
curious. I'm not planning to be there myself.
I go to the skating rink.
And you meet people there and you talk to them, and
if they're there, like I'm not saying this always. So I'm just saying like if I run into somebody, I'm gonna holler, hey, what's up? But if it's not, then you know what I'm saying, that's not the case.
Do you holler at a girl that is in a group or with people, or does she have to be on her own, or?
Really, it just depends if I feel like it's worth it.
Yeah.
That's just me at the age that I am now. I just, you know what I'm saying? I've never had a problem to approach a group.
Yeah.
You speak to everybody, and then whoever you're trying to talk to, then you pull them aside, say, excuse me, what's up? But that's just...
Yeah.
That's just me. I ain't never had no problem talking to girls.
I don't know. I think that, although I don't really remember my approach very well, I do think that the temporariness has definitely affected my view on dating, because it's kind of like a eat or be eaten mentality, where it's like, maybe I don't want to be this way, but in order to protect myself, I feel like I kind of have to be a little bit. Like, I would love to be able to throw myself into a relationship when I meet a guy and we whatever vibe that, oh, I would love to throw myself into this, but I run the risk of really setting myself up because at the same time I'm like, if a guy didn't say that you are his or like that y'all are together, you have no business thinking that. Like, and it's crazy because there's a whole lot of other things that would lead somebody to think that could be valid. Like, y'all talking every day, y'all spending time together. It's not a crazy thought to think that y'all go together or that y'all are like in something serious. But because of the culture today, it is a problem.
Yeah.
And it's like I fully stand by that, but only because I feel like the culture has made it so, you know? Because when I sit back and think of it, like, no, if y'all over here vibing like that, you know that there's something going on there that should be undeniable. But because of the way the culture is, you're allowed to stand on that principle and say, well, I didn't say that we're in that space, so.
The way I go about it is I'm just very vocal. You know what I'm saying? One thing that I have is like I pay attention, so people like communicate, so I'm vocal. Like if I see you, say, boom, somebody say if I find you on social media, somebody posts you, and so now I'm looking through your page, and let's say you post regularly, and like you funny, like I genuinely think I might, dang, like you funny, like you funny in real life, and so that's me trying to what's going, you know what I'm saying, and what's up. But like I said, I'm not trying to fit nobody directly in. Then that's how I let you know. So if we meet up, say, okay, boom, now we go out and like we have a conversation, we have a drink, and we have like a good time. Like I'm gonna say, hey, you know, I enjoyed that. Like you cool. Like you know what I'm saying. Let me know if you trying to do it again. So I'm always very
forward in that,
transparent in like where I'm at and what I'm thinking, because people assume, and so let's just go ahead and be clear.
That's why I like the online I like the online dating in theory, because technically if you on a dating app, you would think that you're there to date, right?
Nope.
It sure ain't. It sure the fuck ain't. And it's so stupid. But at least on the dating app, I feel more like I'm within my rights to expect somebody or go into it expecting that they're looking for a relationship. I still go ahead and ask, but it's different from if I meet a guy outside on the street.
I'm gonna be honest.
I have no idea where he stands with anything. If he's in a relationship, if he just got out, if he's married, if he likes girls. Like, I have no idea with a stranger on the street, like, as far as a girl approaching a guy. Not that I was...
Personally, if you fine and you on a dating app, I think you tricking. Personally.
If you fine and you on a dating app?
I think you tricking. Not to say
I don't think so. I've met a...
I'm just giving you my personal experience and my opinion. Like, if you like, oh my gosh, like you scrolling, you be like, oh my. I think you're not really looking for nothing, for real. Me personally.
Why?
Because the ones that I have matched with in the past and have talked to, they weren't on nothing for real. They're the ones who, like, if within the first 3 interactions you're not trying to
take them on a
trip, then you are matched. If the approach, and that's the thing, like, if you match, then that means there's some kind of interest.
Yeah.
But it don't
supposedly,
be.
No.
It don't be. And so that's why I don't got time. Like, if you do it, you do it. If you don't, I feel you.
Yeah, it's also just super easy. So I have come across a number of guys that were genuinely looking for something, and they have been driven to apps because they don't know where else to look. You know, last ditch effort, or
can't find nobody.
Right, or just like, this is where everybody is. It's the biggest pool of singles that are potentially looking for something. So it just seems like, because and also there's no bounds. Geographically or whatever.
Right.
So unless they just have a whole bunch of homies that know a whole bunch of people to introduce them to outside of who they already know, they're like, well, this seems like the only other place to go looking. But there are the ones that are like what you're talking about as far as girls, I feel like they are usually pretty upfront on their profile and just say they want something casual.
Oh, they like, you know what I'm saying? They want to be spoiled. They looking for...
Do they say something like they're looking... What do they say as far as like what they're looking for in a relationship? Do they say casual, or do they say they're looking for a relationship?
They be like monogamy, but it's like keywords, you know what I'm saying? Not to say you can't want it, right? But I don't know you to be like you're a princess, not to even be funny.
They put that in their profile?
Yes. And so when they put it in their profile, like princess treatment, and I'm in my soft girl era, I understand what you're saying, but I don't know you to, like, you know what I'm saying, to be a part of that.
And that's what all the like super pretty ones we have.
Yeah, so that lets you know like what it's really about. And so for me, that's, you know, that was always like a telltale. And I'm not to say, oh, just because they say you can't, then, you know, oh, she's still pretty, so you send her, and then you try to have the conversation. I'm just saying, in my experience, those were the ones that was just kind of like, man, I wasted my one like for the day.
I've had one guy say that. No, well, not say that he wasted on me, but like that idea of wasting that, like, I guess because I don't be caring about I think I stopped using those. I don't even. Yeah, I try to like just wait for the people that kind of are interested in that show interest in me, because I know whoever I go, because I got tired of matching with somebody that isn't really interested in me.
Okay.
You
How
know
do
what
you
I mean?
know that?
Because when I go for the conversation, they back out or they don't respond at all, kind of thing.
Nah, that always got me tight. I ain't even gonna flex. That's one reason why I'm glad. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like we match and it ain't no where's the conversation. Yeah. And I think that leads to like the temporariness of it, because like everyone feels they like have access to so many people. Yeah. So it's
placeholders.
Which is, I was just having this conversation. People think that because they have access, that they have more opportunity. But if you can't locally pick a good person, you can't from a distance pick a good person. So that's why you see these stories of people picking more and more partners, is because like you don't even know how to look for a good one.
Yeah, but even the access, it's an illusion. Like,
definitely,
I'll have 50 guys in this app that supposedly swiped on me. I can go through half of them and initiate a conversation, and they don't respond because they weren't really, really interested. It was just like, why not? Why not? But when the opportunity becomes like actually there, they're like, whoa, let me rethink this a little bit. Maybe now's the time that they decide to put in thought as to whether or not they're actually interested in me. And so it's like, it might seem like you got this many options, but really whittle that down to people that are actually going to respond. That cuts it down in half. Whittle it down to people that actually have decent conversation that you like. That cuts it down.
Yeah, but that's why guys shoot as many shots as they do. That's why they say, like, when it comes to those dating apps, guys will swipe yes 50% of the times, where girls is like 15. Yeah. So they just like, somebody gonna be like, hey, and then if she's worth it, then you're gonna be like, what's good? But then if it's like, nah,
I'm more of, you gotta catch me on the right day. Like, on a bad day, I'll be like, bring them niggas off the bench. They ain't that bad. Like, I'll go ahead and be like, we can work this out.
Stars on the bench.
Yeah, we can work this out. So then, since you are like forward in like approaching people, what's been the problem? What's been the struggle? Or that you've been getting?
That I know that it's just that everyone, to me, I think everyone just feels like they have so many people
options.
Here, women in mind, they feel like they have so many options, so many people who are trying to get at them, and so it's just like, you know.
I don't be feeling that, but maybe other women do. I feel like there might be options somewhere out there, but it's not like all the options are beating down my door in that way. Options that I want to.
No, right.
That's the case, I wouldn't be here.
I just mean like they have people who, you know, want to take you out, like options. Whereas,
well, yeah, but options that you actually want, that's a different story. Then you be in the same pool, you know, like, do you actually like this person more? You know, yeah, the other one's willing to provide something, but there's clearly a reason that you ain't chosen yet, that you're not with him yet. Something ain't there.
Usually, it's if you ask me, a lot of times it was like the girl, and I'm not even to be like, oh, girl bashing, nothing like that. I just mean because I'm not trying to pigeon. I'm not trying to like when I meet you. I'm not trying to be like, oh, you finna be my girlfriend.
Yeah.
No, that's not how I go about it. I'm trying to let's go get something to eat. Let's go bowling. Let me see how you interact, how you are as a person, what you talk about. And so then it's like after a while, if I'm just like, you know what, I might have some interest, then it gets to like, you know, it might be a fall off because somebody else
Swooped in.
might have had more interest or was trying to move a little bit quicker, but then you notice, you know what I'm saying, because it's still the social media era that ain't go nowhere.
Yeah.
So it's just like a lot of times we let go of people who genuinely want to get to know and understand us for what looks good, but we live in this temporary, you know what I'm saying? So it's
to me that's what dating is about. All right, so let's get to this idea of like go ahead.
Yeah, I think the dating culture is I don't remember what a pastor I was watching a sermon and he said it's like practice divorce. Like that's what it is nowadays.
How so?
Like in the sense that you meet somebody, y'all might start living together, y'all might start doing everything together, and then like y'all separated, and so you go and now you're doing all that over again. He was saying like all the way that the relationship is structured, it's a mirror to marriage, but it's without the
commitment.
Correct. Not to say everyone takes not to say everyone takes a commitment like they say life or death, you know what I'm saying, till death do us part. But it's just like, you know what I'm saying, it's practice divorce. So we have more practice like getting in and out of relationships than we do working through whatever the issue may be. And so I just feel like that's what it is, where people are so used to I can find somebody else.
Yeah.
That's what they go and do, but everyone comes with their moments and times, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so it's how do you as a person, how can you stand through that? Because people gonna die, people gonna lose jobs, people gonna get hurt, people gonna, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That happens to everybody in life, but it's how can I stand and support through that? If every time I'm just like, oh, this doesn't serve me, this doesn't serve my mental health or my peace, then it's just like you never learn to strengthen that same mental health or, you know what I'm saying, really be able to take hold of your peace because it ain't real peace if it's never challenged with some chaos.
Yeah, correct. I agree. So I guess I think of dating as the time before that. Like, I think casual is when y'all are still like on the app, where there's like no real kind of investment in each other. And then to me, dating is once you've gone beyond that. Dating is more consistent, but it's not exclusive yet. And that to me is like the time that you are learning about this person, possibly developing a friendship kind of thing. And then to me, the moment that it starts to become like, I feel like feelings start to get involved, that's when I feel like you got to cut the rest of them shits off. Like, that's when I feel like it needs to kind of switch into something a little bit more exclusive. Maybe not like, it doesn't mean that y'all gonna have, you know, forever or getting married, but at that time, I feel like the distractions have to go and you got to kind of focus on, does this thing actually have legs? But the time before that, the dating period, to me, that is the time to really just kind of have a safe distance, but get to know each other, but don't fall in love right then. Like, just kind of enjoy each other's time, get to know who each other is, but you're not like locked down to each other. But it's still like a level of consistency that you can start to kind of build from. But the moment that it starts to become a little bit more heavy, I feel like that's when it's time to kind of transition into something more one-on-one.
I don't disagree wholeheartedly with everything you just say. for me, because I was just to say, like, unless y'all are married, like, that's not your, like, that's not your guy. And that's just, and even then, you're not sure because, like, they could leave. They could walk. And so for me, it's, I can move with the intent of progressing this, but I understand at any point in time, like, the other person can make the choice that they don't want to do this no more.
Yeah.
And so I just feel when it comes to like meeting people, getting to know them, trying to see where it goes, yes, there's a time where you got to shut everyone out. But I also feel we don't focus on the person in front of us to really get to know them before we make a decision. And then you were like, when feelings get involved, I just think that is such a catch-22 because, like, depending on what feelings they are, like, our feelings can cloud our judgment. Because it's been some times where, like, I was really attracted to somebody, and they weren't no good.
Yeah.
They weren't no good, but I was just like, man. You know, and I found myself in a lot of situations where I was just like, oh, my feelings.
Yeah, that's where I be fucked up all the time. So are you saying that you think that the dating period, like the part of getting to know this person, should be more one-on-one before the feelings get in?
I think the problem is we don't make it natural to our lives, right?
What do you mean?
We want to go out, not that necessarily it's always a go out thing, go to where you're going on dates, but it's to where I'm prepared to be on my best behavior for this 2-4 hour period of time. And I don't mean best behavior, but I'm putting my best representative forward. So I'm not seeing how you are when you're disappointed, or how you are when you're frustrated, or things don't go your way.
Yeah.
And so I'm saying I try to make it more natural in the sense that what we do and how we do it, how we get to a certain place in time. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be more, I'm trying to see what your day-to-day is. How do I fit into your schedule? How can I type thing before it's any, you know what I'm saying?
But can't you do that while you're dating multiple people, or do you feel like no?
I just feel like you miss too many things. Right? Like when we multitask, I'm not saying that some of us aren't great multitaskers, but when you're distracted, you miss things that you wouldn't have if this got your full attention. And I'm not saying like you meet somebody and then it's just, but I'm saying like if my goal is to find a life partner type thing, I just think you're too distracted to really see a person if you're trying to see multiple people.
So how do you think the progression should go then?
I usually say you take the first 3 months to really get to know, like, to see a person. In one of my criminology classes, it was like the person's trying to deceive you, right? After about 3 months, they're going to revert back to their original habits if they're putting up a facade, right? And so that's when I start to be like, okay, now I'm really getting to know a person. It's like if I met you, let's say in January, so you got February, March, April. Let's say we are still in communication, hanging out in April. Now is when like I'm really starting to
know the real you.
In my head, is when I can really start to get to know the real you, because whatever you were trying to put up to be like, oh, you know, I'm this type of person, if that's not really your day-to-day, every day, it's going to start to fade. And so now it's the opportunity to really like, okay, what do you really think about this? Yeah, I remember on our first date you said B, but is that really how you feel? Because, you know, and then you might be more like, no, you know, I wasn't trying to be too controversial type thing. And so after that, then that's when you start to say, okay, how do we fit? Like, you know what I'm saying? do you see me as a permanent fixture, or you know what I'm saying, type thing?
I feel like I feel like that deception will happen until you guys are seeing each other on a regular, like, almost, honestly, it's almost when you move in with each other. Like, my ex and I did a long distance relationship for, I don't know, the first, basically until we got married. There were moments where we were in the same place, but for the most part, it was a bit long distance. And even though we knew each other for that first, couple of years, there's just a difference when you have to be in a close proximity.
No, I definitely agree.
And I think that that's the reality of a lot of relationships, is even if you do, because I've been finding this out even when dating. Like, dating is fine, we're good, great, and then spend a week together.
No, definitely.
That to me is a better judgment than like just going steady with that one person. And then the idea to me is, especially because I can't really expect a person to give me that kind of time up front. I feel like I got 3 chess boards going at the same time, my man. Like, because the distraction to me, and this is based on my own like flaws and shortcomings, like, it helps because it keeps me from falling too fast. It helps divert my attention when I'm like looking to spend all this time with somebody, because I am more quality time. So I like to like spend a lot of time with the person, and not like I have a healthy separation. But if you are my person, then I'm going to expect to at least hear from you on a regular basis, kind of thing. And even in person, even more if possible. But in the dating phase, when we're just getting to know each other and I'm still trying to find out how are you fucked up? How are the ways that I'm fucked up affecting you? Do they work together, or is it just too fucked up? Trying to get all that stuff together before, like you said, my emotions start clouding my judgment. These distractions help me to just dial it back. But when we have those times together, I mean, I'm focused on that one person, whoever I am with, like, at the time.
No, I'm sure. I just, in being, you know what I'm saying, like, I done did it, you know what I'm saying? I done entertained multiple people. I'm not saying it's not doable. You can't get it to where your schedule is flawless, to where everyone feels like they have been, their attention need has been met. But what I'm saying is, like, you miss things, and so then it causes you to slip up. Not to say, like, you're trying to be tricky. In the instance, you're not trying to be tricky, but like you get your wires crossed. And so rather than, okay, let me, if this is a chance at forever, let me take these 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks to meet person A. Yes, person B, there's a person B, but let me just, hey, person A, what's up? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, 4 weeks. Person A is really not my person. Write them off. If person B is still available, then, you know what I'm saying, you take a shot at person B. But I'm entertaining, casually dating multiple people, to me is, that only benefits in the early stages women. But when you're talking about in the long run, like, you don't really have the opportunity. And I think that's why it's so temporary, because you don't know. You assume everybody's entertaining someone else, and so then it's like, I'm not gonna be as vulnerable as I could be, because what if she got 2 other niggas? You know what I'm saying? And so I just think
the crazy part is, like, so with in my experience, it's always somebody that I'm interested in, and then when I'm like heavily pursuing it, the signs are saying back off. That's when I divert. That's when I say, okay, I need to give you your space, because you're not where I am. You're not ready to proceed past this milestone yet. Let me go ahead.
Before you do that, do you have a conversation?
Yeah, that's why I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
So it's more like, all right, so what's going on? And I'm getting things. I can't say that the conversation is as direct as it could be. most of the time I'll be asking questions like, okay, when can we get together again? Or I'm really liking that, like things like that, and looking for their response. And if their response is more like, I don't really know, like they seem to be going at a slower pace, that's when I feel like I need to kind of put the brakes on myself. And or sometimes it's me trying to go deeper in our like thought conversation of each other, like getting to know more, to a deeper level, and they may not be ready for that at that moment. They haven't developed whatever comfort level or whatever. In many cases, I have gotten some kind of indication that they are just not ready to proceed. That doesn't mean they're not interested, but they're at a different pace than me. Mm-hmm. And that's when I usually go to something else to see, like, okay, let me just distract myself to give them the space that they need. Either they are going at a slower pace or they're not as interested as I am in them. And so it's kind of that defense mechanism of, okay, let me just kind of calm down, because if I keep going at the way that I'm going to go, I'm looking to find my person. And if until something stops me, I'm like the law of inertia. Like, I'm going to keep on going in this direction until something stops me and pushes me back or into a different direction. So I'm willing to be vulnerable, and I usually am. And then if it's not met with open arms, then I'm like, okay, got it. I'm going to go over here. The door is still kind of open, but it's like, okay. And I feel like that happens a lot, where either I'm ready and they're not, they're ready and I'm not. And then it's like trying to find this space. And it goes back to what we were saying earlier of everybody trying to like protect themselves from the possibility that the other person's like just going to go with another option. Mm-hmm. So it's like when I'm open and I'm like, hey, I really like this. I like where this is going. And it's kind of shut down a little bit, then I'm like, all right, I shouldn't have been jumping out there like that. Technically, you didn't give me the green light to say that this is where we're headed. So that's fair. You're within your rights to not be interested. But now I got to go ahead and like pivot or whatever. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It just I never like completely just close myself off to somebody because I just want to entertain multiple guys. Like, believe me, and every time that it's gotten more serious with one guy, everything else is cut off. Like, I'm not interested because I'm interested in this over here kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But the moment I sense or some kind of indication that I'm over here and they're over here, I'm like, okay, well, let me go ahead and open this door back up before I be in love with this person that don't even want me.
Okay.
What?
I just feel like that is what I meant earlier, right? When it was just like people don't really take the time to, because for me, right? Let's say I'm one of those guys and we cooling, you know what I'm saying? The vibe is nice. Let's say we're going on a date Monday, right? And it's like Thursday, we still in communication, but you know what I'm saying? And it's like, all right, I'm ready to go on, and I'm just like, man, I don't know what I got going on. I just met you. I might have had 2-3 weeks of things coming up, and so it's like I'm trying to fit in. And then it sounded like, well, since you're not trying to see me, or I'm moving at a pace where you're just kind of like, you're trying to figure it out, then I'm finna go do this over here. So then it's just like, how do I really get a fair shake if the moment that there's any kind of discomfort or not even a disagreement, but where it's perceived as now I'm finna go do something else. Like, that's
communication. That's it. Because at no point do I leave and be like, I'm just gonna go to you. I usually will say,
I'm not
hey,
even saying that.
It's seeming like this is what's going on and you don't really have the time. Or whatever is going on, I respect that, but just know I'm going to pull back. I've said that.
No, but it's like this, right? For me, I'm speak from my personal experience. Mm-hmm. There's been times where I might have a thought in my head, or I might be trying to work something out, and it is presented, hey, well, obviously X, Y, and Z is X, Y, and Z, so I'm going to do this. Whole time, I'm like, wait, what? Because
you weren't thinking that.
It's not nothing even concerned to that, but since you're already deciding you're going to make a move, all right, brother, I'm gonna let you make that move, whatever that move is. You know what I'm saying? If that move
So
is,
you wouldn't interject and say that's not what I was thinking?
in that moment, it really just depends. Like if this is new, like brand new, like fresh. No, I'm not, because to me that's an indicator of how you move as a person, right? Rather than, all right, hey,
That's petty. This is why I think it's petty. Because I think that is more of an insecurity than it is somebody intentionally trying to like snub you.
But if you're new, right? If this is new, if this is fresh, right?
Yeah,
then it would be, hey, I don't know you well enough to make any kind of assumptions on your actions, your thoughts, your personality, nothing. I don't. So I'm going to always ask and inquire. So if I take it upon myself, or she takes it upon herself to just place actions on me and then make a decision based on what she had perceived and thought, she's already on that side of the fence, walking in that direction. She's just letting me know that's what she chose to do. There's no conversation there. Yes, I can say, no, don't do that.
You don't have to do that.
But what I'm saying is but that's what it would take.
But don't give her back the same bad energy.
That's more so like, oh.
No, I think, okay.
That's more so like, okay, like, you know what I'm saying? I understand. If somebody comes to you and says, you know what? I haven't been hearing from you for a week, and I'm deciding that I'm just going to pull back because this is just stressing me out. This is not the type of situation that I want to be in, right? If they come with you like that, and you know that's not the case, and you decide to be like, you know what? I understand you feel that way. You know what I'm saying? I wish you the best, and that's just it. That's just it. That's all right.
And I think that's unfortunate, because I think that it's hurt people. That's what it is.
But me, I'm not me in that case. I'm not necessarily hurt. I'm more so caught off guard with what you talking about, because I'm like, what you talking about? But you talking still. I'm not getting the word in. You just worked through from A to Z, and so now I'm just be like, you know what? Because I have to then try and convince you, because if you wanted to talk about it, you would have brought the conversation. I
feel like you're approaching it from a place that like y'all are enemy. Okay,
no,
I think that your offense to what the way they're acting is valid, but I don't think that it helps. Is the thing.
It's not an offense.
It is.
No, it's even with my students, even with my parents. And if you have, for example, right, if I raise a child, and I'm not. That's just the example that I'm using. I'm not saying relationships are like raising a child, right? And you say, this is what I want you to do as your parent. But your child comes to you and says, hey, man, Mom and Dad, I just graduated from high school, and I know you were saying that college wasn't due, but I got a ticket, and I'm going to just go backpack for 6-7 months, and I'm going to call you. You know what you'd be like? Okay, go do that. You know what I'm saying? Do what you want to do, because you've already made up your mind. You've already moved in that. I can disagree and say, hey, you barely finished high school. You know what I'm saying? I think that you should try and sharpen.
The equal scenario would be if the parent said, hey, I'm going to pick you up at 5 p.m. and then, or I'm going to pick you up later today. No actual time. And the kid says, hey, it's 5 p.m. You said you were going to pick me up, but it looks like you're not going to pick me up, so I'm just going to catch the bus home. Now, the parent could be like, all right, you made up your mind. Or the parent, to me, the loving thing to do is, hey, I was actually going to pick you up at 6 p.m. If you still want to go, you can, but this is what I was thinking. Because the truth of the matter is, you had something that was going on that you didn't communicate, and they made their assumptions in the absence of communication. Is it right for them to make assumptions? No, but in the absence of communication, that's just what happens. Unless they have the wherewithal, the self-awareness to come and say, hey, let's clear this thing out. Now, what I said is, I don't believe that your reaction is unwarranted. It just doesn't help, because I think in the course of a relationship, you're going to need...
We're not, at that point in time, we're not in
But the same way that people say, like, women shouldn't be waiting until they're in a relationship to start treating a man the way that they're, like, that's the same methodology. Like, there's no reason to treat a person, wait until you're in a relationship to treat a person with the same respect and dignity. That doesn't mean that you give them everything. But what I'm talking about is honestly just basic human interaction. Once you can follow what you want, but
I'm more so just trying to follow, and I'm not. And
all right, let me clear it up.
Right.
So, in a relationship, there's gonna be plenty missteps that each person makes, and in my experience, when it's met with, "Oh, you tripping right now," and I'm gonna let you go ahead and trip, it doesn't help you guys get further. Instead, it's like, "Hey, I get it. You're offended. You're tripping. This is actually what I was doing behind the scenes." If you feel like we can have this conversation, or you can, like, I think that the way that you were responding is meeting fire with fire. They're tripping and you're letting them trip, as opposed to saying, "Hey, I can tell that you're hurt or you're offended because you're assuming that I don't care, but really this is what I have going on." I don't think that it takes anything to just say that. And if you're actually interested in the person in the beginning, then why let that be the stumbling block? Now, it would be great if that person came to you beforehand and said, "Hey, I was hoping that we could go further, get to know each other, but it's seeming like you're either not interested or you have too much going on. Do you want to talk about this, or is what I'm saying correct?" I literally just did this to a guy. I was like, "It's seeming like you're saying a lot of things, but you're not following through. Is that a fair assessment?" He literally was like, "Yeah, I've just been messing up or whatever. I haven't been able to be there. I'm not trying to do this, but this is just what's going on." Like, but that took growth for me to get to a place to ask that, because usually I'd be like, you didn't plan 3 dates and not showing up for 3, you ain't interested. But in the span of my relationship, I know that sometimes it's other shit, and people don't know how to communicate that in real time. They usually just respond, and that's really a defense mechanism. So instead of me seeing that as, "Oh, she thinks she know what it is, she done made up her mind," I'm like, she's hurt. She clearly is feeling like I don't care, and she is responding defensively to protect herself, but really she's just making things worse. Let me calm her down. I love a man that knows how to, "Hey, let's bring it down. Bring it in. We're still friends. I still like you. I just have, this is what's going on. Don't start tripping." Like, give that reassurance, because I think the same thing with the guy. Like, hey, nope. You're still the one. I'm sorry. I was tripping. I missed that. This is what I was doing. Because that's what it is. It's a cry for reassurance. Like, and it's not that what the way that you're moving is wrong. It's just different from what her expectations might be. The same way your expectations are different than what she wants. Like, you're expecting to be able to live your life and reach out once a week, where she's looking for more. You're expecting to continue doing your own thing, but she is just on a different wavelength. And until y'all sit down and have that conversation, like, it's going to take a long time for you guys to have a lot of these real, like, heart to heart kind of conversations. So does that mean that if y'all don't agree on everything up until then, that it's not worth investing in? Like, you're going to butt heads with so many people because you're just not going to be on the same page. Not because you can't get on the same page, but without that kind of clarification, people are so, there's so many different ways to communicate, styles to communicate and styles to receive, that we have not had the time or experience to understand and grapple with. And so we're just kind of fumbling our way through it. And in the initial days of, like, getting to know someone, without having ironed all that stuff out, you're bound to be doing that. And it's not, if y'all match with each other already and you're having these conversations, there was a level of interest. I doubt that interest changed because of that. It was just, they didn't know how to communicate effectively to let you know, "Hey, I'm feeling an expectation of mine that doesn't seem to be aligning with yours. Am I reading this right, or do I have it wrong?" Instead, they were like, "Hey, I'm just going to take your actions as a signal," when really it's more of a reflection on how they move than how you move, because we're going based on our own interpretation of the world. But I don't know. I just feel like, because I be wanting to do it too, just, clear it. Like, okay, that's how you move. I'm done with it. Because in this dating phase, it's like, you're not worth that investment yet. Well, how does a person become worth that investment? By these moments.
All right, guys. Yep, you guessed it. That's all for today, folks. You're going to have to catch the rest of this conversation next week, airing Wednesday. And trust me, it gets better. It is good, y'all. So thank you so much, as always, for rocking with me, rocking with us. Please like, share, subscribe to the channel, y'all. Tell your friends about me. If you listen to the podcast by audio, check us out on all the streaming platforms: Anchor FM, Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts. Wherever you look for podcasts, we're there. If you are on social media, that's Twitter, that's TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, check me out. It's Alexis. So that's ISS_Alexis. No E, no I, double S. If that isn't confusing enough, just check the link in the description for all of my handles. And yeah, I can't wait to see you guys in another episode. Bye.